Welcome to The Grow Show, powered by Steel. Today, we're flipping the script on our usual host, Marty Grunder, to make him our interview guest of the week. Here's Grow Group Vice President Vince Torchia with more.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Grow Show. Vince Torchia here, Vice President of the Grow Group, turning the tables on Marty this week because, Marty, we got a really cool thing coming up called Grow 2024 in Des Moines, Iowa. Many people have probably been following us. They've been seeing things about Grow. Some of them have been to Grow. Some of them have hosted Grow. But let's take a step back, Marty. What is Grow? When did it start? Why did you start it? And it wasn't always called that either, was it?
Yeah. First of all, I got to say this is rather uncomfortable. This is how our guests feel. This is kind of funny. So a good learning experience. Vince Grow, believe it or not, was started almost 30 years ago. And I thought at age 25 that I could put on my own conference for the owners and leaders of landscaping companies. Now, we all know how silly that is now. Why in the world I thought at age 25 I could do something like that it was good, okay? But I didn't have enough knowledge to be carrying the room with, the kind of people that showed up. The first one we did, 14 people showed up. One of them is arguably one of our best friends and clients in the business, Jeffrey Johns, Coastal Greenery. They've hosted, it's just a crazy story. I have pictures of him and I from 30 years ago with our arm around each other. That's cool. But so we did the first one in Dayton, Ohio. It was called a boot camp. I had 14 people there. It was a 2-day event. At the end of the first day, I asked everybody how we were doing, and it was the consensus that what I had done so far was not very good at all. And I went home to my wife, Lisa, and I said, Lisa, I think I've got a problem. She's like, what do you mean? She goes, I said, well, all those people that came in to see me. And now I'm thinking, 14 people came, big deal. But at the time, that was a big deal, Vince, that I had found 14 people from all over the country to come. And so I went in the second day. I did the best I could with teaching, and they all said that was a lot better. And so I promised them if they came back the following year that if they didn't like it, I would refund all their money for last year's and the next one that they came to, and I would pay for them to travel home. And I was just, I guess I was confident in myself that would be an irresistible offer. Of the 14 that came, 12 came back, and we had 38 people there. It was at the Holiday Inn up north of Dayton, and it was really good. Like I learned, and I know I did a good job. Now, is it of the quality that we do today? Lord, no. I mean, Vince, you and I could both watch old clips of ourselves and we laugh at how much better we are now. But that's where it started. And it was really, I was a really good baseball player in grade school, and all I wanted to do was play professional baseball. And then I got to high school, and that was pretty much the end of my baseball career. I didn't grow. I didn't get any better. There were kids on the team. The one I played shortstop. When I got to alter, the shortstop ended up going to play baseball at Vanderbilt, for God's sakes. I mean, I wasn't good enough to be a baseball player. I did all the games, the basketball games on the radio. I was the play-by-play guy for our high school, and I thought I wanted to be a sportscaster. And my mom drove me out to Ohio University, which is a highly acclaimed broadcast journalism school, and it was a winding road. And when we took the 2-hour ride out there, I threw up when I got to Ohio University. And when we left and came back home, I threw up, and I said, Mom, I can't go to Ohio University. So I settled on the University of Dayton, kept growing my business. And I think Grow and the Grow Show and being a professional speaker were all outlets for my little thing that I love speaking. I love being in front of people. I don't have a fear of speaking. I used to. You probably did too. And that's kind of a long story, but that's where all this came from. And, I pride myself on putting on a good show. You do the same thing. And that's kind of the story of how Grow got to be today. Today we expect about 1,000 people to join us in Des Moines, Iowa, and it's really turned into way more than I ever thought it could. I never envisioned it turning into this.
Marty, even back then, how did you figure out what am I going to teach about? Or am I going to showcase another company? Am I going to showcase my company? You were obviously running a company, gave you an extra insight into the opportunities and challenges that your attendees had. But how did you figure out what you were going to teach? How did you figure out if you were going to look at a company? How did you put an agenda together?
Vince, it really was just rooted in, and I'm giving a little inside baseball here. You and I are terrible at celebrating successes to the point that we've had to have some outside help on it. Like, you and I at times probably are not fun to work for because we're like, okay, well, we did that, but we know we could do better. So let's not get too excited. And that's not really a smart perspective to take with your team, because our team, our small but mighty team works incredibly hard to pull grow off. And you and I really we haven't done a good job celebrating it. And now that's the bad side. The good side is I'm extremely competitive. From hosting Grow with me, both of us try hard, even as it's grown, not to let anybody eat dinner alone, not to let anybody come to Grow and feel like there's not a place for them. Not, no matter how big the contractor is. If they're a $400 million a year contractor, which we will have a company that sends people to Grow that's that big, or if you're a $250,000 a year contractor and you just started 4 years ago, you and I'm being self-serving here. I think we're nice guys. We like people. We want people to go back home and say, Grow was incredible. It was a great learning experience. We had a ton of fun. I can't tell you what it did for myself. And that's what's always driven us. The fact that I own a landscaping company, I no longer operate it day to day, which has been well chronicled here on the Grow Show. Seth Flum operates it. I'm still in there every day when I'm in Dayton, Ohio, and I still know what it takes to win at the game of business, specifically being a landscape contractor. And we are constantly layering best practices on top of best practices. The 150 plus companies that are in our peer groups are an incredible source of intel for us on what's going well in the green industry and what's not going well. And as you know, probably better than I, we know what contractors are struggling with. And instead of it, Vince, it's almost therapeutic to a degree. Instead of us just being there and having all these things going on, it's enlightening and it's helpful to be working on solutions to help them. You know what I mean? Like we're layering things on top of that. So that's part of it, which gets it going, and an unquenchable thirst to get better.
And I think too, Marty, you've probably seen the events or education change in the industry itself, right? From the time that it was Alka to Planet to now NALP and to going to Louisville and having Equip and Landscapes and Grow and our field trip events. What to you still makes Grow different? If there's people listening thinking, man, I got a lot of demands on my time for calendar, I want to get better. There's a ton of events to choose from. What to you makes Grow stand out to still be different?
Vince, I really believe this. It's the finest educational experience you can have in the green industry. It's a conference for landscapers put on by landscapers. I'm in the middle of business development at Grunder Landscaping, which is my main focus. I'm still there. Like, I don't have any intention of selling the business. We're growing it too much. You layer that on what we're learning through the peer groups and the constant interaction we have with the owners and leaders of contractors. And also, you and I are pretty damn good hosts. We make it fun. And I think our learning experience is just a really practical, experiential learning experience.
No, I agree.
Again, it's one of your terms, but I'll steal it. A little inside baseball. Like, you're never going to be seated for longer than 45 minutes at Grow. And that's intentional. Who in their right mind would want to sit in a room and watch a PowerPoint for 3 hours? I mean, shoot me. So we want people to be up moving around. We want people to have interactions with other landscape contractors. Just a funny side note. One of my favorite things to do is when we have the cocktail hour or when we're on break, and it's really hard for me to do this because everybody knows who I am there. But sometimes I can find a couple minutes to just stand in the crowd and listen to the conversations. And Vince, it's amazing. It's not people talking about their car or where they're going to go to dinner or the Cincinnati Reds or the Super Bowl or anything else. It's them talking about their families and how the business interacts with them, what they're going to do, what somebody's using for a truck setup. Should I start a branch office? Should I get into lawn care? I mean, these are all things we're in the middle of doing at Grunder Landscaping. So I'm talking too much, but I think if nothing else, my passion comes through for what this event has become. And, you know, you and I don't want anybody coming to Grow saying that was the worst one you ever did. We want them to come and say that was the best one you ever did.
No, and I think that you hit on a couple of good things that I want to highlight just for listeners is like, it's a show. It's fun. It's energetic. It's engaging. We know the kind of thing that not only we would want to go to, Marty, to your point, what you'd want the team to Grunder Landscaping to go to, what kind of environment we want our peer group members and their teams to go to. So again, we know how to put on a good show. You've bumped your elbow, scraped your knees over 30 years and had some maybe not good shows or not better grows.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We have a lot of accumulation of knowledge there. And again, Marty, just for our attendees, whether it's a keynote session delivered from the stage they're going to listen to, whether it's the breakouts on the specifics of finance, sales, leadership, operations, software, training, attendees get a lot out of that content. Don't get me wrong, but I think you make a great point. They get a lot out of just being in the community that Grow has created. The 300 plus companies, the 1,000 attendees, the people that come every year. You may not keep in touch with everyone, but you meet people that come year after year and you catch up and you see how things are going and you talk about your family and you talk about your business. And it's really an amazing community that comes out of this show, aside from the education, right? Aside from the tour of a company, it really is the people in the community that make it a special event. I know they get a lot of takeaways out of Grow, but also, as you and I know, when you teach, you also remind yourself of a lot of things that you want to do or you want to focus or you want to get better at. Do you have any lessons that maybe come to mind for you that when you were speaking at Grow or when you were at Grow, you're like, wow, that's a takeaway for me. I got to go back and do this in my company.
Gosh, Vince, where do I start? I think the biggest thing is, and again, inside baseball, as you say, when you say things, and Seth is the one that's kind of shared this with us. You know, he said we ought to name our company Say It Out Loud Consulting, because when we say things out loud, we process it. It goes back in our ears and we're like, either that's a great idea or that's a dumb idea. When you're teaching, and maybe we're talking about our onboarding, and as I'm teaching, I'm like, you know, now that I'm teaching that, I don't like what I'm saying here. That I think we got to make that better. So it's that kind of thing. I think the biggest takeaway that I have, Vince, was probably about 15 years ago, somebody wrote on the surveys in the comments that this event has changed my life. Thank you. And I read it and I was like, change your life? I mean, Jiminy Christmas, get out more. I mean, what are you talking about? It's just a conference. And then I started to see what they meant by that. And actually today we use that in our marketing. And that's not us saying that. That's our clients that have said that. And I think my takeaway, Vince, is while my ego, or I may want to tell my wife that 1,000 people came to Des Moines, Iowa to see me, to see Vince, to see Emily, to see Lindsay, they didn't come there to see us. Okay? It's not about us. It's about them. And that is one of the most valuable business lessons that I have ever learned. And that is, when you make it about yourself, you lose. When you make it about your customer, when you make it about others, and you be less worried about what's in it for you and more worried about how you can help someone else. And Vince, by the way, this works with your family, your friends, a vendor, a neighbor, okay? You know, Dale Carnegie said, take an interest in others will take an interest in you. So my big takeaway was, these people, they're not coming to see me. They're not going to go home and say, the best talk that I heard was Marty Grunder, or the best talk I heard was Vince Torchia. Like, that changed my life. I know we're really good and I know it's going to help them. But if it was that good, we would just deliver it virtually. Okay. We just do it over Zoom. It's the power of having everybody together. It's the conversation on the break. It's the guy you met at the table next to you. It's the young lady that is in sales that you meet and you're like, why am I not giving a young person in my company the opportunity that Jim's giving that young lady at his company? I am missing something here. So that's the big thing, Vince, is that I know we're good speakers. I know we have awesome content, but quite frankly, the dinner that somebody has with somebody from 500 miles away that they may end up becoming friends with and going on vacation with, which is what happens. It's crazy. It's the community. It is the spirit of success-minded peers, with game on at Grow, ready to get better. And I've heard that from everyone. Like my buddy Mike Rory sold his business, got back in. He's got a wildly successful company based in Cincinnati, Ohio. He's 10 years older than I am. He doesn't need to work. He loves coming to Grow just to be around the energy and the people. There's something magical being around other can-do people that want to get better. And that's my takeaway, that it's not about us. It's about everybody that attends.
Yeah, I know, Marty, and I agree. And so I want to ask you one more thing about 2024 and what you're most excited about for Des Moines and RJ, our tour host. But before that, I do want to give everybody just a very high level. So we'll kick off on February 6th at 1:30, all in a main room together. From there, we'll go to breakout sessions. As I mentioned, the breakout sessions are 45 minutes, to Marty's point, no longer than that, right? We don't want to keep anybody seated for longer than 45 minutes on the specifics, on the tactical things that affect your role at the company that you work in. Whether you're on the finance team, on the sales team, on the marketing team, on the ops team, in the HR world, or a leader in the company, we've got breakouts that operate in continuous rooms over those 45 minutes on the subjects you want to learn about. We have 2 of those that day. We'll learn about our tour host for the next day. We've got a happy hour that evening, and we do dine-arounds. Dine-arounds are fun. Dine-arounds, we make reservations. You get to go. You pay your own way. You sign up. You get with 10 other people who you don't know. You have some conversations, and then you get ready for what's a very cool thing for us, Marty, is the company tour, the highlight of RJ Lawn and Landscape, $10 million company in Des Moines, Iowa. Very well balanced, residential, commercial, snow, lawn care, design, residential design, commercial, maintenance, turf fields, very well balanced companies. Super excited for everyone to learn from them. But we get to go learn from an actual company. We debrief. We have more breakout sessions. We have a VIP dinner. It's going to be an awesome dinner at a supper club in Des Moines, in one of the downtown buildings down there, not too far from our host hotel. We have more breakouts, and we wrap up on the 8th by 11:30 and get you back to where you came from. So that's just the structure. Again, you can look at the agenda. You can look at the sessions. It's going to be an awesome event. But Marty, other than just kind of the high level that I laid out about 2024, what are you most excited about? What are you looking forward to? What do you think is going to be kind of the marquee moment of Grow 2024 coming up?
Well, without a doubt, seeing RJ Lawn and Landscape and what Annette and Ryan McCarthy have done with that business. They're part of our peer group. I first went and visited them on a consult. I think it was 8 years ago. They were somewhere around 2 million. They're around 11 million now. I did not do that. Okay. They did the work. I am not taking credit for their success, but they're in our peer group. They're in our legacy peer group, which you facilitate, and they come to the meeting prepared. They come to the meeting dialed in on their business. They are the most amazing husband and wife team that I have ever met in the green industry. Their relationship from a love perspective and how they treat each other is awesome. I have never seen them in an argument. They are, take out the fact that they're married. They have a very successful business relationship together that is mature and professional. And I just admire them as people first and entrepreneurs second. I mean, to me, Vince, and again, I am not taking credit for their success. I would never want Ryan and Annette to think that we thought we made them. We did not. We put them in an environment that has helped them, but we're getting just as much from them as we're giving to them. It's a give and take. It's the power of being in a group. And I'm most excited to show off what they're doing because where they are now versus where I went and saw them is amazing. We have things that we are doing now today at Grunder Landscaping that I have learned from them. Okay, so that's what I'm most excited to show off. As far as the thing that I look most forward to be honest with you, is the opening of Grow. And I go up on stage, and normally I have a suit on, and I'm pretty revved up. I have a rather unique entrance song. It's
I can hear it playing. I can hear it playing right now.
I can hear it playing.
Yeah.
So that is really fun. That is really fun for me. And it's really, not to get corny on everyone, but it's a very emotional thing to jump up on stage and look out there and see all these people that, not that they've come to see me, see all these people that are here that want to get better at their business. That's amazing. And sometimes I lose my way a little bit looking out at the impact of what we've been able to do to get to this point and the anticipation of what we have in store. You know, it's a little bit like, wait till you folks see what we've got in store for you. I mean, we're already planning Grow 2025 now. Like, this isn't, we don't just pull this off. I mean, I'm not going to mention his name, but we have a lovely client of ours that goes to other green industry conferences. And look, folks, there's a ton of great ones. But our friend Andy says, your event, when I go to other events, I realize how well run it is. And I said, what do you mean? And he's like, well, all the sessions are on time. It's like clockwork. It's like you guys are professional meeting planners and put this on. And Vince, as you know, we don't have a lot of help, okay? We are so passionate about letting every single person that came to Grow leave better, that goes into everything that we're doing. So, you know, can't wait to show off RJ, can't wait to jump up on stage and see everyone, and also can't wait to close the whole thing out, because I know what we have planned. I'm not nervous at all about it. We look forward to rocking and rolling in Des Moines.
Yeah, Marty. So February 6th, 7th, and 8th, Des Moines, Iowa. There is no better way to kick off your 2024 than joining us in February in Des Moines, Iowa for Grow. Highlight RJ Lawn and Landscape, going to be an amazing host, tons of educational sessions. This is what you and your team need to kick off 2024. Marty, thanks for sharing a little bit more about how Grow started, where it went, and then where we're headed with it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there too soon, Vince. Thanks for interviewing me on The Grow Show, powered by Steel.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Grow Show. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and head to growgroupinc.com for more information and resources to grow your landscaping business. A special thanks to the folks at Steel, whose support makes this podcast possible and whose reliable handheld power equipment makes our jobs easier daily. We'll talk to you next week.